Ale, Stevie, Seb here in the ESPN FC studios. The Premier League's match day 8 in the books.
Where's Seb?
Means what?
Where's Seb?
Right here.
Oh, all right.
Where did you think I was? Time for our Premier League team of the weekend, as chosen by one Stevie Nicol.
What could possibly go wrong?
Do you know what? I was struggling to get a goalkeeper, to be honest with you.
You were, and you picked a guy who let in 3.
And I had a problem, I had a battle with myself whether that was right or not. But you know what? Dubravka must have made about 4 world-class saves to keep them in this game. So that's why I went with him. Schindler and Laporte. I thought Laporte was good for City. Bellerin and Monreal, fantastic attacking fullbacks for Arsenal. Juan Mata's in because the free kick and the goal he scores to start Manchester United's comeback is huge. Sigurdsson, what a great goal for Everton. Ross Bartley, I can't believe I've actually got Ross Bartley in a team of the weekend, because for me, I'm not quite sure what he does, but this weekend, he was great. Hazard, there's a shock. And up front, Lacazette, 2 great goals for Arsenal, and Josh King has been on fire with Bournemouth. And Unai Emery.
Even though you say Arsenal never plays anybody.
I said they haven't played anybody recently, but to go away from home in the Premier League and win 5-1, you got to be doing a good job.
So you don't believe that it was the tactical changes that Jose Mourinho made at halftime that... No, that's not it. Oh, okay.
You mean the 19th-minute tackle?
How about desperation and throw everybody forward and hope for the best and get the crowd behind you? How about that? Never mind tactics.
I failed to mention it off the top of the segment. We do have Gab Marcotti with us as well. Gab, what did you make of Stevie's team of the week?
I was curious what it was about Schindler. He got whacked pretty good at one point, but why the love for him this week? Why is he on your list?
Listen, when Huddersfield are playing teams that are going to be in and around them, it's huge to get a result. And without his goal, they've got another loss in the column. So that's why he's in, because that's a huge point for Huddersfield.
Centre-back goal, that's going to get you in the talk, right?
Yeah, but it's the important...
It seems to work that way on Team of the Week, and I've been guilty of it as well, I have to say.
Hold on a second. Unless I've been dreaming for 56 years, the game's about scoring goals, isn't it?
Sorry,
so you're going to give me 6 for putting a guy in that scored the goal?
Wow.
Right? That's why we want to play.
No, not at all.
And
not
watch.
At all.
You look good at 56.
Thank you very much.
That's what I took away from that.
Nothing wrong with your eyesight.
Do you like the team, Ale?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why not? I'm a little disappointed that the tactical master class that we got from Mourinho in the second half was not recognized.
Oh, we didn't talk about his tactical masterclass in the first half. Start McTominay in the middle, halfway through the first half, put him in centre back, and then at half time take him off. There doesn't seem to be too much planning going on there, right?
We just can't stay away from this is Premier League Team of the Week. He's not in it, and we're still talking about Jose Mourinho. We'll probably be talking about it all week on the podcast as well. You know, if you ever miss a show, don't worry. Head over to ESPNFC.com, also available on iTunes. Check out our podcast daily. Take a look at the top half of the Spanish table. Look at that. Sevilla in the top spot after their victory over Celta on the weekend. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid rounding out your top 4. That's 4 games in La Liga consecutive without a victory for Barcelona. Ale, what's going on with this team?
We were talking about it in the midweek that even as spectacular as Lionel Messi was against Spurs and as good as Barcelona was against Spurs, defensively right now, if you have a pulse, you have a chance in scoring on Barcelona. A minute into the game, you're down 1-0. That's no way to play if you're Barcelona, because you know already when you're in that tunnel that more than likely you're going to give up goals. That also puts pressure on what you do on the other side. And so Lionel Messi has to come up and save you, and Luis Suarez, who hasn't been good, has to save you, and he doesn't, and then Coutinho doesn't play well, and now there is pressure. But above all that, defensively, the issues for Gerard Piqué are clear. And then the lack of possession by Barcelona, which is the one thing that we've all known from Barcelona over the last how many years, that they're going to keep the ball. In this particular game, giving up the ball away in areas in which you just don't expect it, and by players which you don't expect it from. So it's Rakitic with a turnover. Busquets, who never turns the ball over, he's giving away the ball. Piqué coming out of the back, he's giving away the ball. Well, you can't play like that. And Valencia's a good enough team that's going to create problems for you. There are confidence issues for Barcelona in that back line that I think permeate throughout the whole team.
Stevie, you mentioned it while we were watching the match. There's a sloppiness to this Barcelona team that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well, if you look behind you and you see Piqué and Vermaelen as your go-to centre-backs, then that's a worry straight away.
Because I am the training sessions, I see him every day training penalties and this, and gave me a lot of confidence. Will be a good experience for him. Next time we'll go in. Yeah, he wanted.
But what he said afterwards, do you have any comments on that?
Apologize.
So you apologise?
Yeah, of course.
Right, so it was your decision then?
Yeah.
Interesting. Training sessions as a way of picking penalty takers, Stevie.
I have no problem with it. It's not an exact science, either taking a penalty or picking your penalty taker. And if Pep sees Mahrez in training or after training, I'm guessing when they're practicing them, smashing ball after ball after ball into the back of the net, and maybe he's seen Jesus missing a couple, and he's decided, you know what, I like this guy, and that's why he wants him to take it. As I said, it's not an exact science. That's the problem.
But I do know it's not an exact science. However, what we have seen from Manchester City is that no detail goes unnoticed. Everything in Manchester City is calculated. There are people working behind the scenes with numbers and so on and so forth. So they would have had access to the same graphic that we all saw on television as Riyad Mahrez is about to step up and it says that he has missed 4 of his last 7. And if that's the case, then I don't care how many times you have seen him do well in training. What we have seen on the game is that the guy is simply not a good penalty taker. And so, look, he can make it, he can miss it, it happens. But you want to give yourself the best opportunity available in order for him or for Manchester City to be successful. And clearly, after we saw what we saw, he was not the guy to take it. Yeah. And so then I have to say, wait a minute. If you know this number's coming in,
you can't categorically say that. Listen,
I can categorically say that he has missed 4 of his last 7.
We sit and argue about the 2 best players in the world, Messi and Ronaldo, who's the best, right? There would be no reason over the last 18 months why Ronaldo's let take free kicks every time, but he still is. There's no reason why you should let. There's no reason why you should let Messi take penalties. He's missed as many as Mahrez.
Hold on a second. Are you putting Riyad Mahrez in the same conversation about Ronaldo and Messi?
I'm talking about missing penalties. I'm talking about missing.
If it was Lionel Messi and he missed it, I said, well, look, it's Lionel Messi. If it's Ronaldo and he misses it even with a poor record, I say it's Ronaldo. But Mahrez is not Messi or Ronaldo. And so he doesn't deserve that sort of treatment.
That doesn't make sense.
Sitting here in the studio, I have the luxury of looking out at Gab Marcotti, who is screaming at the top of his lungs. Gab, make it quick. What do you think?
No, just the numbers for context. The only other penalty taker that was out there on the pitch at the time was Gabriel Jesus. He's missed 2 of his last 3. So that's 1 in 3. Worse percentage than Mahrez. And the other guy who took a penalty was David Silva, who took one 6 years ago for City and also missed it. So I take Ali's point, but if you look at numbers, actually Mahrez was, as bad as he was, the only one who had experience, and had better numbers than the other guys.
Okay, if you're going to make the argument, Gab, seriously, that 4 out of 7 is a good number, then I'm done talking.
Yeah, but he's just missed 2 out of 3.
Okay,
so,
all right.
You're splitting hairs.
So all right. You're really going to make an argument for a guy who has missed more than 50% of the penalties he has taken? Really? We're going to make that argument?
Yes, if the guy's been standing up in training for the last 3 weeks, day after day after day, smashing penalty after penalty after penalty.
I don't care what they do in training. I don't care what they do in training. I want to see what they do when the people are in the stands, where there's a high-pressure situation. We've seen a lot of all-star players in training. When it counts, when it matters.
Welcome into Extra Time. Alejandro Moreno, Stevie Nichols, Sebastian Salazar, Gab Marcotti. Is with us as well. Who is what?
Do it.
Wait a minute. Where's your standard salutation?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to
All right.
What's the other one?
There's another one.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
everybody.
Hey there,
Hey,
buddy.
buddy.
Hey,
Buddy guy. Not your buddy guy.
Guns out, I know.
Yeah. Oh, he's.
You got to go all in if we're going to do it.
He brought it
Guns
today.
blazing.
He
Is that
brought
where
it
that saying
today.
comes from? All guns blazing.
Is that what it comes from? I don't know.
Hey there,
Asking.
buddy.
Let's get to the questions here from Gray. This is so difficult to get through this.
Wow.
What's more surprising, Gab? The guys in studio are having a laugh, so I'm coming to you. Manchester United's comeback win, Bayern winless in 4 straight, Real Madrid goalless and winless in 4 straight, or Barcelona winless in 4 straight La Liga games. What's your biggest surprise, Gab, of that lot?
It's a really good question. I'm gonna go with Real Madrid for the simple reason that during the show I think Ali put it very eloquently. All the problems they have, they're a counter-attacking team, but to not score in 4 games is pretty grotesque. And also in those 4 games, the CSKA game, they hit the woodwork 3 times. They easily could have scored 5 or 6. That's even without Isco, who is the key to all this. So I'm gonna go with that. They come back, look, Newcastle or Newcastle. You know, you throw everything forward. United have enough talent to go and do that. Bayern, I think they were kind of pushing their luck a little bit this season with Kovac, although that's still pretty remarkable. And yeah, Barcelona, I wouldn't put too much stock in that.
I would say Bayern winless in 4 matches in Bundesliga. A league that we have said time and time again is no competition for Bayern Munich, and yet this season seems to be different for Bayern Munich and different from Bundesliga. I'm not sure that the level of other teams has actually raised, but I do think that Bayern has come back to the pack, and in doing so is giving hope and opportunity for everybody else.
Next question here is from Nick. How happy was Stevie Nicol?
Am I not here?
No, I wanted to get you to the next ones for you.
All right.
Hey everybody!
Hey. My chopped liver.
Well, apparently.
Hey.
Stevie,
Apparently.
Nick wants to know how happy you were when Mahrez launched his penalty into the crowd. You doing this?
I had a smile on my face.
Hey, all right, Mahrez. You doing that?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I just found it ironic because it's in a game that was so bad, particularly considering how good we thought it was going to be. It was kind of ironic that he missed it. So yes, I was happy and yes, I was smiling, but I kind of wasn't surprised. It was almost what the game deserved. Nobody winning and a horrible penalty.
You were surprised when he missed it, right?
I was surprised he was taking the penalty.
I think he was as well.
And then once I saw the graphic, I'm like, why is this dude taking the penalty? And then once he missed it, you're like, well, that's what the percentages tell you, that this guy should not have been the one.
What could be the motivation then for picking a guy who's missed 4 of his last 7?
Maybe
Trying to give him confidence or what?
Oh, maybe you want to make the point that you started him in a big game, and that he might have scored the game winner.
Or maybe...
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
here we go.
right,
Here we go.
Go ahead, Gal.
There we go.
Ali, we touched upon this on the show, right? There were 3 people on the pitch for Manchester City who had taken penalties in the Premier League. Out of those 3 people, he had, even though it's not a good one, he had the best conversion percentage. Maybe it's as simple as that, right? Maybe Pep just looked at it and said, out of these 3 guys, the other 2 guys have performed even worse when they've taken penalties.
If Manchester City,
Why is that not possible?
if Manchester City, with their budget, is settling on a guy who coming into this penalty has scored 4 out of the last 7.
Missed 4 last.
Oh yeah, missed. Sorry, I was even giving him more credit than he deserved. Missed 4 out of the last 7. Over 50% of the penalties he has taken out of the last 7 he has taken. Man, come on. I'm just. It should it should be
Ali,
a lot more straightforward.
Who would you have given the penalty to?
I give the ball
Who
to
would
David.
you? Come on, Maestro, tell us.
Hey,
You're number 9.
Hey, I give it to Gabriel Jesus, and if he doesn't want to take it, David Silva, I'm giving
Well,
it
he
to
wanted
him.
to take it. He was on the spot.
I know. Well, that's what. Hey, don't get mad at me.
No, I'm just saying, like.
Wait,
know.
Right, so Gabriel Jesus has missed 2 of his last 3 penalties. David Silva hasn't taken a penalty in the Premier League in 6 years. He does not like taking them, and he's not good at them.
Maybe he's taken him in practice, though, and he's looked really convincing in practice and training, right, Gav?
Yeah. It was pretty clear.
So you don't know that?
The only real penalty taker they've got is Aguero.
Which, again...
So after that...
Gundogan.
After that, it's down to your gut feeling, the toss of a coin, whatever way you want to put it.
Yeah, and that's fine enough.
All right, let's move on to the next question from Jose. Can Barcelona fire Ernesto Valverde?
Whoa,
Ale?
that's a quick hook.
That's yeah. A bit aggressive. I mean, I know they're struggling, but...
No, not yet. I think he has enough equity, and they're still in second place in La Liga, which is not great, but Sevilla's not going to stay up there. This is going to be decided way down the road.
Ahmad wants to know, who do you guys think should replace Niko Kovac at Bayern if he gets sacked? Zidane, Conte, Arsene Wenger? Gab, who do you think?
Mourinho? No, just kidding. I don't know. It's funny because I know from what I've been told, the Bayern hierarchy really were not expecting this. Their intention is, they weren't 100% obviously on Kovac. You're always gambling when you're dealing with a younger manager at this level. But every indication is that they want to give him the season. Things would have to really degenerate for them to pull the trigger. I'd say before Christmas.
You know what? It's amazing, isn't it? The people with the biggest mouths at Bayern are up the stair, right?
You're a big fan.
How about they were the ones that got us all totally, completely, and utterly wrong? When you've got a squad like Bayern has, with the old, wizened, experienced guys like Ribéry and Robben, you got Hummels coming to the end of his career. You got Müller who's past his bit. You've got a lot of guys who have got a lot to say. So to put a young manager right in the middle of that, when your team needs an overhaul as well, I think you got to look at the two guys up top who are always
Rummenigge, Uli Hoeneß.
Yeah, they've always got something to say. Those two, either about the team or about other teams. They want to start sorting
or
out
about Mesut Ozil.
They want to start sorting out their own team, and never mind blaming Kovac. How about blaming those two?
You think they've missed on the hire, Bayern?
I don't know if they missed a hire. What I do think they've done is not anticipate a team that has been getting older over the last few seasons, and instead of addressing that properly, they've given extensions to a guy like Ribéry. We can all agree that he has been a wonderful player, but we can also see that the end is a whole lot closer than it was years ago, and I just don't see why they continue to give these contracts out to some of the older players, where perhaps you could address the idea of either we got to bring players through or we have to get younger by going and getting those younger players. I don't see where the real younger, talented Bayern Munich player is out there.
Sixth in the Bundesliga, Bayern.
Yeah.
Crazy to think. Spencer, final question. Stevie, do you still have doubts about Love?
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't particularly great today, was he?
No, he's put himself. He put himself in two situations today where he could have got penalties given against him. One with Aguero, and the other one was when he caught Jesus with a flailing arm.
Yeah. I thought that was a pen. What did you think?
No, at the end of the day, I didn't think either of them were penalties. But my point is,
it could have been.
It's always him it's always him that's putting a decision in the referee's hands. So,
what was your reaction?
That's not good.
What was your reaction when you saw Lovren in the starting lineup and the shuffling that they'd done in the back line?
Kind of pretty much. Well, Alexander Arnold has looked gassed during the week, and he got terrorised for me during the week. So I wasn't surprised he didn't play. Klopp, he just doesn't fancy Klein, and I don't think Klein's a particularly good technical player either. Yes, he can defend and he'll get up and down, but technically he's not particularly great. Gomez is a better right back than Klein, and obviously you have Lovren there as well. So when I saw Lovren, I'm just like, well, you just know there's a possibility that he could slip up, make a rash challenge or make a bad decision.
He's one of the best defenders in the world, though. according to him.
All right. Thank you for that, Seth.
And his mum and dad. And if he's got any other brothers and sisters.
Hey, it's my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, baby. Love you. All right. Hey there, buddy.
What'd you get her?
Oh, a couple of presents. Very nicely done. Cake is coming tonight.
Wow.
You going to shove her face in the cake?
No, that's not very romantic, Stevie.
You look like a right romantic.
Well, that's, yes, when you look at me, romantic, yes.
We'll be back tomorrow. Plenty of romance.
Let's get to the crux of the matter. Can Chelsea really push the two teams that everybody's talking about for the Premier League title, Liverpool and Manchester City? Can they push them all the way? And I think the answer on the evidence we've seen so far is yes. Something I didn't think, and I certainly didn't say at the start of the season, with the later arrival of the very experienced Italian manager, Maurizio Sarri. But he's got a plan. It's clear, and the players are certainly taking it on board. He wants a possession game. He wants it to go through midfield. He's trying to make sure he's keeping Eden Hazard happy, and that seems to be the case because he's playing particularly well at the moment. He's on the score sheet again, and they're getting results. They look compact, and they're not making too many mistakes at the back with a partnership of David Luiz and Rudiger back there. That was something of concern, certainly for the Chelsea fans at the start of the season. The game itself, well, it was 3-0, but it could have been more. Southampton did miss a couple of chances, but in terms of possession, we're never really in this game. Goals for Hazard, as I mentioned, a goal for Ross Barkley, who seems to fit the eye of the manager, and a goal off the bench for Alvaro Morata, who has been much maligned. So a confidence booster there. Chelsea, it looks, if they can keep their players fit and happy, are going to push those two teams that I mentioned all the way this season. Certainly lots to be pleased about from an Arsenal fan's perspective. A 5-1 win on the road at Fulham off the back of a Europa League game. No Mesut Ozil either. That's maybe a little one to think about for Unai Emery going forward. In terms of where they are, that's 9 straight wins. In anybody's book, that's great stuff. I don't think it tells the full story. The pieces of this puzzle will still have to be put in place. The transfer windows down the road will hopefully do that for Arsenal and for Unai Emery. But in terms of what he has a plan. He still wants to play from the back. He has made that obvious from the start of the season. They will give chances away. It was an open game against Fulham, who came out second best because Arsenal have better players. But they will give teams chances. Fulham had plenty of opportunities in this game, but it was Arsenal who had the quality, and they were clinical. Lacazette with a couple, Aubameyang off the bench with a couple, and I think the best for me was Aaron Ramsey, who was literally on the park for 1 minute and scored probably the best goal of the game, which went all the way up from one end of the pitch to the other, and it was a sublime finish. That's 9 straight wins for Arsenal. It takes them into the top 4. It's consistency, it's continuity, and Arsenal under Unai Emery, at least at the moment, certainly have a clear plan.
Didn't quite get the highly entertaining game from Anfield between two very attacking teams, we know that. So a little bit disappointing. I don't think either manager will be entirely upset with taking a point from the match, but it was interesting to hear the Guardiola comments before the game talking about Liverpool, saying they frighten me at times because they've got that quality and they've got that pace. And I think that was really brought through by the way he approached this game. If you remember back to the Champions League game at Anfield last year, where they were open and were thrashed 3-0, there was certainly a little bit more of a cautious approach for Manchester City this time, and it worked particularly well. No major chances in the first half, and then the game opened up at the end and Mahrez missed that penalty kick. The interesting thing here is we're early October. We take a look at the top of the table and just how it's all starting to pan out for the season going forward. Still much football to be played. 3 teams at the top are the big teams I want to look at, all in 20 points. Man City obviously with that better goal difference. Then Arsenal and Tottenham. I don't think they'll be in the title race. And then a surprise entry in there, Bournemouth. Obviously no Man United in the top 6. We know their struggles have been very well documented. But when you look at the 3 teams at the top, I don't think City have quite functioned like they have been last season yet. I think that's still a work in progress. They can get better. I think Liverpool have defended much better. I think that's been evident, particularly the partnership with Van Dijk and Gomez. The front 3, that highly vaunted front 3, still hasn't hit their mark yet. And Mo Salah obviously not going to have the same season he had last season, but things are just not quite happening for them. And Chelsea, well, they've got their own issues in the striking department. Is it Giroud? Is it Morata? But the one that Maurizio Sarri has been able to rely on is an excellent Eden Hazard. And they look like a really, really strong outfit. Do I think these 3 teams can go head-to-head all the way to the end of the season? I think they can. And if they do, it's going to make for a really exciting few months in the Premier League title race.
Peter, 3 sending-offs in the Premier League over the weekend. Yeah. The first one, Cardiff at Spurs, rules. Lucas Moura's running past him, kicks out at him, gets sent off. Is he sent off for violent conduct or serious foul play? And what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so as you say, rules has gone past him and he just lashes out for some reason. No intent in playing the ball is not in playing distance and therefore is sent for violent conduct. Had he made an attempt to play the ball and caught the man, he could have been sent off for serious foul play. But in this instance there, the ball was further away and it was clearly violent conduct. In my opinion, had he wanted to bring him down, maybe he should have pulled his shirt or something. But to kick out in a violent manner meant that he's been sent off.
How does that affect his ban? Is it a longer ban?
Yes, I don't think his manager or his coach would be too happy with him, because being sent off for violent conduct is a severer punishment than being sent off for serious foul play.
He took his time with the decision. The manager of Cardiff says, Neil Warnock says that the Spurs players influenced that decision. Did they?
Mike Dean, the referee on the day, really experienced guy, and what he was doing was allowing himself time just to breathe, just to say, have I seen what I've seen, and then issue the red card as appropriately. Would he be influenced? Look, Spurs players have just seen one of their guys hacked down. You know, they're going to react to it, and they did react to it. I don't think that reaction, though, influenced Mike D's final decision.
Kabasele, Watford against Bournemouth, he gets sent off for 2 yellow cards. The first one goes up against the goalkeeper, arms stretched out, catches the goalkeeper in the face. Right to get a yellow card or soft?
No, I don't think it's soft. I think that goalkeepers need to be protected more than outfield players at times, because they're...
So we go back to our point, the goalkeepers are overprotected.
No,
species.
They're not overprotected. They have to be protected, because the way they catch the ball, their body's exposed. The referee has a duty of care for all players, including the goalkeeper. In that instance there, the player, Kabasele, is led with his arm, catches the goalkeeper in the forehead, and clearly a yellow card. John Moss, the referee there, was spot on giving him a yellow card.
And he was certainly spot on with the second, wasn't he? Kabasele got beaten. Josh King's running away from him. He's racing into the box. He feels he has to make the challenge. No decision for the referee to make?
No, King had got the wrong side of Kabasele. Kabasele knew that, and as a last-ditch effort, lunged out just to try and nick the ball. Clearly didn't catch the ball. Catches his opponent. Down he goes. Again, John Moss got nowhere to go. It's a yellow card. It's his second yellow card.
The last sending off, Morgan. Wes Morgan for Leicester against Everton.
Yeah.
The first challenge, he gets a yellow card. Richarlison runs past him. I don't think anybody would doubt that. He's racing into the box. He grabs hold, embarrassed by his pace, yellow card. It's what happened after that. He then makes a foul on the halfway line, right in front of the fourth official, right in front of the benches. Could he have been sent off for that, for the second yellow card?
Well, he could have been, yes. Andre Mara, the referee there, had no option in the first instance to give him that yellow card because he was moving away from him. But in the second one, where you just mentioned there, Richarlison had been fouled, but Andre took the opportunity to have a word with Wes Morgan and just say to him, hey, look, just steady up. You're on a yellow card. It's not a real bad foul, but...
Would he have said to him, the next foul you make, I'm going to give you another yellow card and you're going to be off?
No, he would not have said that, because he doesn't want to set himself, you know...
Well, that has happened. I remember Chelsea versus Manchester United last season. The referee said the next player that fouls Hazard will be sent off, or be given a yellow card, right. And it happened to be a player that had already on a yellow card, and he got sent off.
Well, I don't think Andre would have said to Wes Morgan, the next foul you make, you're being sent off, because you don't know the context of it, you don't know the consequences of it. However, he took the opportunity just to alert Wes Morgan that he was on a yellow card, that he needs just to temper his enthusiasm a little bit, and he didn't.
So the last foul, if it was an isolated incident, would you have given him a yellow card? Or was it accumulation of fouls that got him sent off?
So I've read and I've heard and looked at it, and it appears to be a soft foul. But a foul is a foul, you know, be it hard or a soft foul. Would I have given a yellow card in that instance, first instance? No, I probably wouldn't have. However, it wasn't his first instance. We've already spoken about 3 occasions where Richarlison's been fouled by Wes Morgan. The referee has already spoken to Wes Morgan and cautioned him. So enough's enough. Persistent infringement, yellow card.
I think everybody in the stadium, everybody watching TV, could tell that the next tackle he was going to be booked and sent off. Why didn't the coach see that? Claude Puel. That's the time. I think more and more substitutions aren't going to be about tactics. They're going to be about injuries and players that are on a yellow card so they stop being sent off.
Good.
Now, you were at a game yesterday, Manchester United versus Newcastle.
Yes.
A couple of handballs, which are absolutely right. or they weren't given, but you got them absolutely right. There was another incident that's gone totally unnoticed. It was McTominay who had gone back into a centre-half position. He miscontrolled the ball. Then he made a lunging challenge, won the ball, but his follow-through went into Muto's shin. And I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, this is what you had a go at me about when I said that Jagielka, the Everton player, shouldn't have been sent off in the first game of the season, the follow-through. This was worse than that, surely.
Look, there was two very similar plays. If you remember the Jagielka one where he's gone through, he's won the ball, but it's gone through and he's caught the guy. Quite rightly, Craig Pawson, referee on that day, sends him off. Yesterday, I too was quite amazed that nothing happened and nothing's been said about it as well. When we look at the play, you can see McTominay has won the ball, absolutely right. But his follow-through has caught, was it Muto?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, squarely on the shin. For me, that's dangerous play. For me, he's endangered the safety of his opponents by the actions he's taken, and for me, I think there should have been more discipline.
So why did everybody make such a fuss about Jagielka's tackle, and this one, nobody even mentioned? I don't quite see that. Well, I started to question myself, am I not seeing the game in the right manner?
Well, there's a number of people I've spoken to who have mentioned it to me, but it hasn't been mentioned in national press, it hasn't been mentioned on the TV. I think when you look at it and parallel it with the Jagielka one, there will be people asking questions.
And will he be retrospectively banned or looked at?
Well, it could well be from the FA. The FA could look at that, but my gut feeling is the FA won't look at it and it will just die away.
I think he probably got a little bit lucky, McTominay.